everyone. My name is Nal Hackmean. Welcome to the YAM Podcast. And today we are super excited to welcome Chirag Davi. We're here to welcome him back because he has already been on our Avec membership portal. March 2022's guest expert came in the membership portal during the Baha'i Fast to actually talk about Ekadashi, which is a yogic fast, which we're going to talk in detail about today. We don't usually publicize our expert speakers, but for this one, it was so beneficial that I put it on YouTube for everyone to watch. And even for our live, when we had guests coming in, it was so complicated. Chirag gave a wonderful, very scientific, in-depth, theoretical talk about it. And at the end of the talk, we realized that people didn't really grasp the concept. And so we're here back again to have a YAM podcast. Hopefully that this is more conversational. So it's something that people will maybe be able to absorb a lot more easily. And I think now, after this is recorded, then if people were to go back to watch that YouTube video, which is titled something like Yoga avec moi, Ekadashi, Baha'i Fast connection with the Yogic fast. All of the details will be in the show notes, so don't fret. But today we're here to talk again. So welcome, Chirag.
Thank you, Nahal. This is again really wonderful to connect with you and your viewers and your team of Yoga avec MOI. I remember during the month of March when there was a Baha'i Fast ongoing and we had a very nice session. And as you said, many of the people, when they understood first time, it was like it is a pure scientific matter which we discuss, right? Because conducting fast is very common thing, and people understand it in a different way, either on a spiritual side or on religious side. But we discussed completely different subject, and it was why and how, why this fast and how. And we touched upon a very specific day. It was an Ekadashi, which is 11th day, right? On that time, people may have a lot of questions. But yes, if you go again and again, maybe one or two times more, definitely you'll be able to understand the science. And I think this follow-up sessions will really helpful who really want to understand the technology or the science behind this method. Because this is a very unique method. Today is the exactly Ekadashi day. And
exactly. Since our chat, so it was in March. Right now we're in July. I started fasting in May. So basically I gave myself 2 months. I had 2 months of hell, I would say, actually, because after you brought this awareness to my mind, I had 4 cycles, 4 Ekadashis to observe, to see how my emotions were being affected by it. And then in March, I started, and literally last Ekadashi, I actually missed it. I forgot to do it, but I did it the next day because I was like, still, we have 3 days of windows that's going to do it. But anyways, I don't want to get too complicated and lose the listeners here if they haven't listened to it first. Let's start from the very, very beginning. What is Ekadashi? Tell us in simple terms. What is Ekadashi?
Ekadashi is actually a Sanskrit word. Ekadashi, the Sanskrit word, that meaning it's a digit 11. That's a no specific significance. It is a digit 11 expressed in Sanskrit. So that means the 11.
So Ekadashi is the 11th day of the month. It appears twice in a month, 3 days before the new moon and 3 days before the full moon. So you can find this date in 2 ways. One is find the new moon and find the full moon date, and then -3 days before that. You can find it like that. Or just type in Ekadashi days, and you will be able to find this day of the month in a calendar. And it usually happens twice. It's usually around the first week of the month and the third week of the month. This is what I've observed, but it might be different depending on the month and the days and stuff.
That's absolutely, you say. Okay. Now our subject is fasting.
Why does yoga recommend fasting on the 11th day of the month?
We have to differentiate 2 things. One is fasting by itself. Okay. So fasting by itself on end is going to give you a benefit. That is a one pointer. Okay. But fasting on specific day, which is Ekadashi day, is going to give you enormous benefit. It's a kind of your treasure box. Okay.
Got it.
So two things here. One is fasting by itself. Second, fasting on a specific day.
So I think with fasting, people know, or if they don't know, we're not going to cover that here of like why fasting is beneficial. It's been tested. It's been science. It's like the fastest way to heal the body. So we're not going to talk about that first scenario that you just said. Fasting, we know it's healthy, but we're going to talk about why fasting on this specific day is important. Because the thing is that right now, a lot of the things that people are doing is like intermittent fasting. They'll fast for 2 or 3 days of the week, or sometimes every other day. They'll just like continuously fast, or they'll fast every day, just do a 16-hour fast. But they don't really time it with an Ekadashi specific day, meaning that the Ekadashi is it's correlated with the moon, the new moon, or the full moon. And right now, what we want to understand is like why fasting 3 days before the new moon or the full moon is going to be beneficial and why it's the treasure box. So let's just talk about that part. We don't need to talk about the importance of fasting.
That's very true. Fasting is related to food. Correct? What you do in a fasting, you don't do anything, right? So you don't eat anything.
You don't eat food. Okay. You don't eat and drink.
And eat and drink also anything. Okay. That is actually real fasting. People are doing fasting in various ways.
That's true. That's true. We need to differentiate that.
Without knowing or unknowingly by some concept. Okay. Some just do some specific food. Some eats only a fruit. Some doesn't eat anything but drink juices and all. Some doesn't drink juices, doesn't eat anything, drink only water. Okay. And some even doesn't drink water. But let me tell you here, the real fast is no food, no liquid. At least for minimum 8 hours.
Got it.
Then and then only it is marked as a fasting.
Okay. In this context that we're speaking about, we're talking about fasting means no food and no drink for at least 8 hours. That's what we're talking about. Okay.
That's correct. So this is all I'm talking in a scientific way. Okay. Don't connect any of this discussion to the religion or the belief or anything. Okay.
Got it.
This is how your body gets into a fasting mode. This is the fact that when body doesn't have any intake, any intake, at least for minimum hours, it is marked as a fasting mode. There are 2 pointers which I said, fasting and the specific day. It comes again linked to 2 parameters. One is your body, because you are taking food through it and which goes into your body. And one is a specific day, which is linked to some sun, moon, and earth, right? So again, 2 parameters came here when you had 2 pointers, and now again 2 parameters, body and the sun, moon, and earth, right? Let us come to a body first. I'll come to the sun, moon, and earth later. 2 specific, one is fasting, one is specific day. Then again, second pointer is your body and the position of the sun, moon, and earth. Okay, another second pointer. Now third, coming to the body. In body, when you intake the food, you know that body is the most complicated factory, right? Whoever, the God or whoever energy has built it, right? Most complicated and most automated factory. There is no precisely automated factory on the earth other than body. Now, what factory does? Factory accepts the raw material. It works on that raw material and produces some output. Correct? That is how factory works. Right? Similar way, we intake the food or liquid. Correct? That is a raw material. Now, all the technology our body has. For example, camera, which is our eyes, captures the images, right? When you intake the food, the teeth, it is a cutter, right? The factory has a cutter. Factory has the image capture machine. Factory has a mixing device. Like when food gets in, after gets the cutter cut, the saliva get mixed to the food through our tongue, correct? So that is a mixer. It passed through the food pipe, right?
The
So
esophagus.
the food pipe should get lubricants, so it has a lubricants. Now see, I'm relating our body with the mechanical or the equipment or the parts of the factory, right? Like cutter, mixer, lubricator. Then it gets grind. It gets separated. Okay. No, the useful food or useful extract and waste extract.
And that's
Then
the stomach, right?
Yeah, the stomach, that your intestines, right? Because its intestine is 6.25 meter long. Can you imagine your small belly is accommodating 6.25 meter long small intestine and around 2.5 meter to 3 meter long your large intestine. So complicated pipelines are inside. This pipeline or this body has all kind of controls: flow control, level control, temperature control, humidity control, density control. So all parameter it gets controlled, right? This kind of fully automated body works with your food intake. These are the machines, right? All these, your liver, your heart, your lung, your tongue, eyes, ears, these are the machines inside. And machines needs to continue work, otherwise we are not alive, correct? So very simple, not confusing, that I'm explaining our body and with respect to the intake of food, right? So this is called the food cycle. It starts from the ingestion and it gets separated and get out as a waste. Okay? In this full process, it creates glucose, and that is your energy. So it comes from the carbohydrates which you intake from the grain, wheat, and pulses and fruits and
vegetables.
All lot of vegetables. So now, when this all factory equipments to continue to run, now you see, if you continue to drive your car without any kind of maintenance, one day it has to be breakdown. Correct? Same applies to all this equipment, right? These are all organs. We have 11 organs. Again, 11 words. See, 11 organs, 5 sense organs, 5 motor organs, and 1 mind, which is brain. Okay. Total 11 important component of our body. What are the 5 sense organs? Eyes, ears, nose, skin, and tongue. These are the 5 sense organs. What are the 5 motor organs? Mouth, hand, leg, anus, and your genitals. Okay. So these are 5 motor organs, and 1 is your mind. See how 11 is again coming here. Okay. It's a coincidence, but yes, just I'm drawing your attention towards number 11.
1 second. What about the intestine? And there's so many other organs in the middle, like liver. So what are they categorized?
They are also organs, but I'm talking about the motor organ, means rotating, moving. Okay.
That's right. You're talking about the 5 sense organs and the 5 motor organs. Got it. Yeah. So liver, gallbladder, like kidneys, they're all categorized as
organs.
Stationary organs.
So those are the organs which doesn't, like hand you can see always moving, legs moving, mouth moving, right?
Got it.
Your genitals, your anus, everything that is a movable part. Your other parts also, other organs also moving, but not acting. They are doing their own process.
Got it.
Each and every, even a nail is also your important part. Each and everything is important in your body.
Yeah.
But how to categorize them in terms of your functionalities? These are the senses and these are the motors.
Got it.
When you continue to use this without any maintenance, without any rest, what will happen is like your car gets breakdown, those one of the device also can get failed. Number one, you need to give a rest to these organs, because every time when you wake up in the morning, you start eating and drinking. Those organs doesn't have rest. You continue to start eating, continue to drinking, and those organs has to work, cutting, lubricating, grinding, segregating, everything. They continuously working. When you sleep, before that also you eat. When you wake up, on that time also you eat. You eat and eat. Okay, that's a number one. Organ needs to at rest. Sometimes it has to be having an overhauling. Like why you are giving your car to the service center to overhaul it, right? So that it continues to run properly as it is meant. That is one part. Now, the other part, when these organs are at rest, when everything is stopped, your factory is taken into a maintenance mode or shut down for the maintenance, you have to repair it something. You have to observe, okay, which nut bolt is loose, let us tighten it. Okay, you have to do some corrective actions. So when you can do those corrective actions, when those organs are not actually being utilized for processing the food.
Got it.
Correct? Means
very clear.
First is how to give rest. You have to, after giving rest, you have to repair it. Correct? In a full food cycle, minimum time the food remains converted and gets into a glucose. It remains for 8 hours. So that food cycle, your food gets through your mouth to in, and it gets segregated as a waste or as a useful food. It takes 8 hours. Okay. So now this is the answer of your question. Why this is 8 hours considered as a fasting? Before 8 hours or 7.5 hours, even you start eating, you come under the fasting. So exactly 8 hours is the cycle. And that is why intermittent fasting also has this funda. Take a dinner and then do breakfast. So you have at least more than 8 hours empty stomach. Okay. So
to
you
make
get
sure
some benefit.
To make sure a little bit more
fast.
than 8 hours. So it's 12 hours before
Yeah.
you actually eat again.
So
okay.
8 is a minimum. Okay.
Got it.
As you go beyond in the slot of 4 hours, your benefit starts increasing in multifold. Okay.
Got it.
So when you reach 8 hours, you start getting benefit. Okay. And when you increase your fast hours, the benefit gets multiplied. Ultimately, I'm going to reveal the secret of how you are getting this treasure box. Okay. So this is about your body, right? And the food cycle. And what happened? You asked a very interesting thing in between. So what happened after 8 hours? What happened? So up to 8 hours, whatever glucose are there, glucose is stored by your liver and your muscles. Okay. In these 8 hours, you don't have any intake, but body still need that because it is survive. You have to survive. Ultimately, how you can talk, walk, see, and do anything, because that energy it's coming within you from those food. But
Stored.
now what?
Stored food.
But now what happened? There is nothing intact. But still, as I said, it is a process of 8 hours. Still, there are stored, and in that 8 hours, your body keeps alive by utilizing the stored energy.
Got it.
Okay. And what happened at the end of 8? Stored energy gets over. Okay. But what? You don't die, right? After 8 hours?
Yeah. Right? Hopefully not.
Yeah. So still now from 8 to 16 hours. So what happens? You still need glucose. Your organs still need energy to run it. It start getting those energy from the stored fat. Now benefits start coming in here from exactly 8.1 hour. Okay, what it does? It start eating fat. It's stored. How fat comes? You keep eating. The body has, the organs has a capacity. It cannot process all the food. So some food lies as is, not useful element, that is fat, and that is how you get your tummy. That is how you get bulky, right? So what happened after 8.1 to almost 16 hours, it start eating your fat.
Got it.
So your fat gets reduced.
Is that the treasure box? Is that the treasure box for the ladies?
No, it's just started.
Just started.
Yeah, just you have seen the box. Okay, you have seen the box. Okay, you have not reached the box.
Got it.
Okay. Now, for eating anything or for digging anything, for just an anticipate a situation where you are digging the mud or a sand from the rock. What happened? You keep dig it till the hard rock comes. But then when hard rock comes, you need to apply more energy. Correct? So when stored reserve finish, you start eating fat. When you complete the fat also, what happened then? Still, you need energy, right? Still, you need energy. The first was a fasting mode start, which is 8 hours. And now up to 16 hours, your fat eating process also finished.
Okay, so first 8 hours is about cleaning. It gets rid of all the glucose. It like the short, fast sugar and energy producing thing. And then the next 8 hours is using your fat stores. Yeah. And then after 8 hours, so that's 8 hours. So that's 16 hours. What happens after that?
Yeah. So the first milestone we call mark as a fasting mode. That is clear. 8 hours. Another 8 hours. So that's a slot of 4 for another 8 hours. It is really get into a
starvation mode. Okay.
Body gets into
when your fat is mode. Okay. When your fat is being got it.
Because now you don't have a food intake. Now you don't have energy to dig more about the fat. Okay.
Got it.
Body enters into a starvation.
Got it. Okay. From fasting mode to starvation mode.
Yes. So now you see after that 16 hours, what happens? It's a very interesting thing. Okay. 16 to 24 up to 36 hours. Okay. You can fast without water, without food up to 36. Many people have even fasted without water, food more than that.
How long do you usually fast?
Many of the times it is not consistent, but maximum 24 hours I have fasted without water, without food, or else I do it up to 16 hours or sometimes 12 hours. Okay.
12 hours, yeah.
So, yeah.
So far,
so sunrise to sunset.
Got it. So, yeah. So for me, it's also, that's all I've done for the past three times has been just 12 hours. But today might be my first time where I'll be able to do 16 hours. And so I'm very excited now that you're saying I'm going to enter into starvation mode. I'm like, yay!
So that particular mode of entering a starvation mode is scientifically called the autophagy process. Okay. And there is a Nobel award given to one of the Japanese scientists, Ushihama, I think. He is given a Nobel award facing the research paper of this. After 16 hours or 24 hours, when starvation mode starts, what happens now? Actually, the body has to take energy, keep you alive, start eating tissues. What happened in this process of eating tissues within the body? There are a lot of dead cells already in the body
that haven't been cleaned up yet, and they're just chilling there
because the organ has never got a time, because you always kept them busy in processing the food.
That's right. But you haven't taken out the garbage.
Now you have given a time.
Yeah.
You have given a time and you have thought to maintain or give a preventive maintenance to your factory. Here, your metabolism, at this point, your metabolism literally slows down here. The body processing the food or your hunger cycle actually is depending on your metabolism. Metabolism is fast, you eat more, digest more, convert, burn calorie fast. When metabolism is slow, everything is slowed down. In this starvation mode, your metabolism literally slows down. It starts eating the tissues, and in this eating tissues process, actually it generates lot of T cells and B cell. Actually, body is made of trillions of cells. Body is made of trillions of cells. Every cell has nucleus, basic science, proton, neutron, and the electron is moving around. Same phenomena, sun, moon, earth moving around. In body also, billions of cells. Same phenomenon happening. Outside our body, same phenomenon is happening. Everything is rotating around each other. Now, in this after starvation mode, there are tons and tons of T cell and B cell products. Now you are opening the treasure box. Okay. When these T cell and B cells are produced in tons and tons, these are the responsible cell which brings cancer kind of a huge disease to you. The lacking of this kind of cells creates cancer. Now what happened? It generates tons and tons. What does it mean? The probability of having cancer is reduced at larger extent.
I see.
You opened the treasure box now. See?
Oh.
Okay. You have just opened. There are a lot of things to now loot from that.
That's so true. So it's after 16 hours that you get into this, you get access to the T cells and B cells. So what is it? Okay, so 16 hours, past 16 hours, I got it. But how much longer? So the rest of whether it's 36, whether it's 24 hours 36. Or 18 hours or 24 hours, it's just going to continue this like amazing cancer killing cells.
So that's the only one. No, it's not cancer killing cells.
Oh,
the absence of those cells create cancer. So now those cells are generated.
Got it. So they're like the soldiers that they get activated and they go kill the bad guys that have been there. Okay. So it's like the unleashing of the soldiers.
Yeah. So those bad guys are the bad guys cell called pro beta cell. Okay. Pro beta. So those are the bad guys.
Got it.
And when B and T cells generates, that kills the pro beta. These are actually, I'm talking from the research paper of the Nobel Award winner.
Amazing. Today I need to fast more than 16 hours if I want to kill them pro B cells.
Anyway, start getting benefit after 8 hours. Anyway. Okay. So it is not required that all the time you get the treasure box, right?
But I want the treasure box, Chirag.
Of course.
You know what? It's funny because I think recently I found some cells in my body that people have said that it's not malignant. It's not cancerous or anything, but it could be. And I don't know when it could go to that place. So if I'm already doing this fast, I want that treasure box, Chirag. I want that T cell and those B cells to come out and play and just like massacre the rest of the pro B cells. I want it to do that because I'm already doing it. And if I already have conditions or if I already suspect that there's something going on inside of me that is maybe mimicking cancer cells, I think also we don't really have an understanding of what cancer cells are. And so to really access this point, I think is really important because many things in our bodies, even when you go to a doctor and you get diagnosed that you do have cancer cells, I'm not saying that we should not listen to Western medicine or anything like that, but I'm just saying that I'm at the point in my practice where I know that I'm physically going to be okay, but I may have cancer cells. And so I don't feel the necessity to go and get a scan to prove that I have a cancer cell because I know I'm going to be okay, or I need to really make sure that my food, my diet, and everything is like in check, which is already in check. I fast like quite often. Now I'm doing the Ekadashi fast and I do like straight for 19-day fast. So it's like the machinery gets rest quite often. But I think when it comes to this point that you made of the T cells being activated, like people can often find like things like polyps, like in their nose or in their colon area or just in their intestine. And they find it, or like cysts, like in female organs and things like that. And we don't even know what they are. like based off of Western medicine, but if we know from a scientific perspective what activates our fighter cells, the cells that kill the cancer cells, regardless of whatever they are, even if we don't know what they are, we need those bad boys. We need the T cells and the B cells to come out to play, because we don't even have the enough time. We don't have the knowledge right now to discover what are those pro B cells and how bad they are and what are the effects. We just know that we want the T cells and the B cells to be activated to just clear them out. That's what we want. That's what we really care about. So I think a lot of people spend so much time worrying about these pro B cells that you're speaking about, that instead we actually need to think about activating our soldiers that really help to protect us internally. After 16 hours, those cells come out to play. So I think that's important for people to know, like that treasure box, because especially if people are dealing with health issues and they're already fasting, they might be even doing intermittent fasting, but they're not doing it like consistently. I think knowing this difference of first 8 hours is fasting mode, second 8 hours is starvation mode, and then afterwards it's like when those cancer killing cells come out to play.
The correct word is not cancer killing cell. It is the cells which doesn't allow cancer to overcome your body.
To overtake your body.
Overtake your body. Yeah. That is in that process of generating T cells and B cells, there are a lot of other cells also get rejuvenated. What actually it does, it replenishes the another dead cells with a new one. Okay. Mm-hmm. For example, suppose you anticipate one pipeline and there is a hole through which the water comes up. But if there is a mud or some cement is there on that hole, the water doesn't come. But when you just remove it, it starts flowing in. Similarly, on our bodies, tissues, vein, arteries, there are million pipelines in our body. It works as a transporter of flowing the chemicals from one part of the body to the other part. But because of this non-maintenance part of your body, that flow gets restricted. But now this maintenance, what happens? Those gets cleaned up. And when it gets cleaned up, the body has a tendency to keep producing. But when you extinguish, when you cap that capacity, it doesn't produce it, right? Now you have opened up that mouth, that you remove that cement. So it starts producing, which gives a glow to your skin. Diseases are removed. Some of the blockages also to that arteries and veins gets reduced. Your blood flow, your other chemical flows process is, so it helps in your reducing the diabetes. It helps in reducing your hypertension, blood pressure. After this, there are a lot of other benefits. As you increase, you just start taking whatever you want to take from the treasure box. Now treasure box is open. Okay. And so the very, very prominent benefit of reducing the possibility of cancer and getting a benefit of rejuvenating your skin. Now, this is all about body.
We didn't even get to the part where the moon affects the body or anything like that.
Correct. Now, treasure box is open, but there are huge, again, to take it from it, right? How? Because it's not that when it is open, you can take everything. There are a lot of securities applied. Okay. Now the Ekadashi, 11th day comes into it. Our body has 70% of the water. You have seen the sea. You have seen the rivers. Correct? Everyone has seen the sea. And everyone knows that there are high tide and there are low tide. Right? If you have observed it carefully, this high tide or low tide are only and only on the days of these 15 days, new moon or a full moon. If you have not observed, after listening to this, observe it. This high tide and low tide will come only on these days. What is the magic here? Magic starts here. This full volume of the water get pulled in high tide. Right? If you are at high tide, suppose you are in one of city and you have a seashore. So every time you will see the high tide only. And when there is no high tide, you feel it is a low tide. But every time it comes to the high tide in one particular city, because high tide and low tide is depending on the physical location where you are located. It is on the line of your equator or on a perpendicular to that equator. So your city is at one place only. every time you observe, it is either high tide or either no high tide, which is low tide.
I live by the ocean and I often go by the ocean. I really notice the changes of the high tide and the low tide whenever the moon changes. But for me, it's what I observe is that during the new moon, it's high tide. Like the water is filled and I'm like, there's no gravitational pull of the moon. That's why. But I don't think that's correct. Or during the full moon, it's really low tide. Like I can walk about like 30 minutes on the beach. And and everything is, and I'm thinking that the full moon is pulling all the water outwards. That doesn't make sense based off of what you were saying about where the moon is with the equator and stuff.
It's another science. Let's focus on our main topic. On new moon or full moon day, you observe either high tide or low tide. Question 1. Second question. You throw anything up, it will come down. Why?
Gravity.
You jump, but again you come down. Why?
Gravity.
Okay. Gravitational force. Right? Gravitational force is related to your mass, which is weight.
Mass. Yeah.
Okay. Weight. Every weight is attracted towards the other weight. Okay, that is a gravitational force. Earth has its own mass. Earth is having a volume. I have my own mass. You have your own weight. Right? Everyone is having some weight. Mars, Moon, Sun also having their own weights. And depending on weights, you have some gravitational force to attract someone.
Okay, so let me just clarify for everyone. Weights, the units or like the formula for weights is actually mass times the gravitational force. That's what weight is.
No.
Yeah. Mass, like right now, when we go on and measure ourselves on the weight, we see something 140, 160, 150 or whatever, or like 100 kilograms, right? And then that is based off of our mass, but also times 9.8 meters per second squared, which is the gravity. That gives you the 140 or 160 or whatever kilograms. It's the mass times the weight. The mass times the gravitational force that gives you the weight.
Oh, yeah. Again, leave that physics aside.
Okay.
You have your weight. Earth has its own weight. Every object has their own weight.
Got it.
Clear? And because of weight, they attract each other. And that's why Earth has a very huge volume, weight, mass. We have a very tiny mass. So Earth always keep attracting, pulling us. And that's why when we jump, we come down. When we throw something up, it comes down. Same way, Sun is huge mass. And Earth also has a mass. What happened? Sun also pulling, correct? Because it attracts. As light pulls us, Sun also pulls Earth. Similar way, Moon also has some mass, Earth also. Sun gets something pulling force or Earth get pulling force from the Sun. Moon, what I'm trying to convey here is Moon pulls Earth, Sun pulls Earth pulls us, and what happened? That pulling is depending on the distance. When the two things are at far distance, it gets very less pulling force. But when it is closer, it gets more pulling. Okay. Exactly that is the reason on this new moon day and full moon day, in this orbital circle, Earth, Moon, and Sun are nearer to them or farther from them. Because one time Moon comes in between Earth and Sun, and second time Earth comes in between Moon and Sun. In a nutshell, you as a human being gets pulled from everywhere. Now, remember I told you have 70-75% water in your body. And as gets attracted or get pulled away on this day, similar force, our body, water inside our body also gets. It is called biological tide. What tide happens on the sea? similar tide happens also in our body because it is also water.
Biological tide. Interesting. I've never heard that before.
Yeah. So now what happens with this on the sea? Your shores are open. Water can flow out on the road also, right? On the building also, wherever. In body,
it's contained. Yeah, exactly.
Okay. There are boundaries. What these tides creates, it creates huge pressure on the arteries and veins. Because of that, your transport mechanism get disturbed.
Is that why it's even more, the treasure box is even greater on Ekadashi Day? Is because of the pressure to the crevices of the parts of the organs to push out all the garbage or to repair or to do whatever. That extra pressure assists in the repairing, in the detoxification to remove everything.
I'll come to that. Your arteries vein also gets huge pressure. On this specific day, you have a mood change, right? All human being feels the mood change sometimes.
Yes.
Actually, the highest mood change happens on these 2 days.
Okay. Yes, I've observed that. That's the entire reason why I do Ekadashi fast is really to stabilize my mood.
Yeah, how you are stabilizing? Why? What's the reason that it gets stabilized? So come to that. On these 2 days, what happens? The huge pressure inside your body, this transport mechanism get disturbed. The chemicals, our brain generates around 70 odd chemicals, and it has to reach to somewhere. And your adrenal, sometimes the mood gets boosted when you eat ice cream. Just a simple example. For anyone's have some different. If for me it is ice cream, you may have something different. Okay. By doing that, your mood get boosted. That is how that addicted people gets more addicted. Because for them, if they do that, their mood gets boosted. Why? Because the adrenal creates those kind of chemicals more, and it generates more by doing that. Because of this biological tide. That's why many of the time, without any reason, you feel happiness. Without any reason, you feel something problem, some bad thing is going to happen. Those kind of feelings. Okay. So this
For
is
me,
all
it's
because
sadness. I cry.
Yeah. Some feels loneliness without any reason. Some feels happy, though he is alone. Some feels happy. Yeah, whole world is happy. So these are all the moods. And important thing, some feels the criminal behavior. The criminal behavior also popped up.
Interesting.
That's why on these days, in highly criminal jails, very special securities are being arranged because the criminal behavior gets aggravated. Okay.
I wonder, I don't know if you have learned or studied this, maybe, what is it that makes people in these different moods? Like, why is it that some people get happy and sad and others, they express it in criminal behavior? What is it? Is it based off of their character? Like their original character that, like, depending on how you push it, like you put it under pressure where you will feel those things?
See, there are something called a sanskar. They're your original character nature.
That's the part 2 of your book that you need to write about the spiritual aspects of Ekadashi and how that's related to that. I'm looking forward to that book.
I have not started, but yes, that's the different thing. But on technical side, what I'm explaining, because of this transport mechanism that disturbs your chemical cannot transport properly, your mood gets swings. And you get happiness, you get alone, lonely, you get sad, or your criminal activities, and your behavior gets differently irregulated behavior. And that's why in mental hospitals, the people who are the patients get more mental in their behaviors. The criminal activities are increased during these days, actually. That's why those special securities and special precautions are being taken care. Okay, so point which I want to drive here is, on this full moon or new moon day, this phenomena happens. Now, gravity is, because of gravitational things, these situations are coming up. Okay. Now, there is another force is called the electromagnetic force. And electromagnetic force is the force which generates in between any two rotating parts. As we discussed, everything is rotating here. Everything is moving here. Your trillions of cells also having rotating electrons are moving. You are moving, Earth is moving, Sun, everything is moving around it. Electromagnetic force is very obvious. And that force also, like gravitational force, impact human being. Okay. And with that, there are a lot of another changes in the body like transportation mechanism get disturbed. Because of that also, the motions, because it is electrical flow, like in your bulb, when you switch on, the electricity flows. But you cut in between or you tap in between the electricity divert, if you divert it or if you disturb it, your bulb doesn't glow properly or it doesn't glow at all. Okay. Like that, electromagnetic force also impact us. Ultimately, gravitational force is related to the reason of everything. Now, listen the secret. You have fasted 3 days before. At least let us, for the example, say 16 hours you have fasted, right? There is a meal pattern, how you will break that fast. You have started taking food slowly, not like eat now. I have fasted, so I have rights to eat everything. No.
I'm stuffing my face. Yeah.
There is a way. Now, there is when you fasted, you don't have water, you don't have food. First of all, water content is reduced. Force on the water is less impacted. Biological tide has less impact on the arteries and vein and the transportation mechanism. Okay, that's the one secret. Fasting on these days, fasting on any days has, but on these days you get benefit out of this. Okay,
because you have less weight.
Water content are less because it takes time to make up in your body. It doesn't, like when you start eating it has a process. It has a process of making up in your body. It doesn't come immediately. And that's why the full Ekadashi is absolutely 36 hours, 3 days. Okay, full actual Ekadashi.
Yeah. Well, this is also my question, because I know that it's Ekadashi is like 3 days. So it's meaning that the force of the new moon or the full moon is acting on our bodies for 3 days straight, right before the full moon. I can totally feel that. So how does it benefit if you actually fast on the Ekadashi day for just 12 hours? Yeah. I'm like, I find it difficult to translate like how your weight remains low up until the full moon.
Yes, see, the weight is not the process like switch on and switch off. It doesn't increase immediately next day, right? Similar way, it doesn't reduce immediately next day if you are fasting. It is taking some time. So even you just do this experiment, you eat full meal and go on weighing machine, you will see some gram increased because that is a food weight.
Yeah.
In your body. Similar way, when you are fasting, at least for a few hours, of course, few means more than 8, your intakes are reduced, and then you slowly making up some milligram, at least your weight is reduced. On this mass day, we call it mass day of 15th day, right? New moon or full moon, because on that day, the largest mass is happening on our body because of this gravitational force. When you fast on Ekadashi day, the force is less impacting on your body because of, now comes to Einstein's law. Force is equal to mass into acceleration. F is equal to ma. So as your mass is more, force is more. Force is directly proportional to your mass. When your weight is reduced, that applicable force on you is less. Your biological tide is impacting low. Your gravitational force also impacting low. On this day, when your ball system is empty, it is not full like usual day, your weight is little reduced in terms of milligram is also fine, but little reduced compared to your usual weight, then all these forces are which are actually impacting badly on new moon and full moon day, and that is why this mood change, behavior change, everything comes are contained, less impact. Maybe still because of some parameters like you have a weight, it will impact, but that impact is reduced drastically.
Are you saying that on Ekadashi days we shouldn't make decisions? Like we shouldn't make like rash decisions. If we're feeling like a bit emotional, like on an Ekadashi day, don't make the decision. But I find the same emotion like continues for 3 days till the new moon, and then even 3 days afterwards. And then basically there's no days in between the next new moon or the next full moon before you even have a clear time or a clear sense of like being able to make a decision. So this is something that I've actually observed in myself, because I don't know if you've heard of human design before. It shows you like a chart of each of your chakras, which one's defined, which ones are open.
Okay.
And there's one center right next to the sacral chakra, the second chakra. And there's two separate, it's not completely similar with the yogic chakra system. It's like a integrative system of many different knowledges. And there's this one center that's called the emotional center. And if the center is defined, it appears, if you're looking at the chart, it appears on your bottom right corner, and it's like a triangle, and it will show us like dark brown, like brown, a brown color if it's defined. And mine is defined, which usually means that I have a cycle of emotions that I go through, meaning that it's very defined. I get upset and then I will come down. I will get upset and I will come down. Like I will have a regular rhythmic emotional cycle. Some people do not have this. Their emotional center is not defined. And because mine is defined, a long time ago, I was able to observe that my cycle had to do with the moon cycle. Whenever the moon cycle had to do it, and that was like a huge revelation for me to figure out, oh, okay, now I finally figured out, okay, my cycle, my emotional cycle is linked to the cycle of the moon. So if I track the moon, then I can attract my emotions. And Ekadashi, why Ekadashi has helped me so much, even in these past like couple months, is knowing that finally it's not just tracking that I've learned, but now it's to intersect it. That now usually it's once or twice a month where I literally go like in an emotional low. Like this morning, even though I'm fasting and I don't have any food, I have a low grade of like emotional reaction to things. Everything just feels a lot more intense. I have to reflect a lot more. I have to release a lot of things. And before, this kind of like intense emotional thing would really grip me. Now, not only do I know that today's the Ekadashi day, but it's significantly reduced to where I can like function and continue my day, the rest of my day, with not allowing it to affect me like so much. One thing I did want to also share for people who really, our first episode of the YAM podcast, we talked about human design. Hopefully people like did actually go and look into it. But if anyone is thinking of doing an Ekadashi fast, I highly recommend you see whether or not you have a defined emotional center, to see that if you are one of those people who have like a cycle that's like very defined, that Ekadashi is one of those ways to like help intercept it. So this has really helped me personally with my emotional decision making and things like that. But I find that because for so long my emotions are in this like disruptive phase, I'm like at this point, I'm like confused as to when I'm actually able to make a decision, because I have to wait until the wave like moves. And sometimes you don't have time. You don't have that kind of time to wait and make a decision, because it's either on the Ekadashi day, you start beginning to feel emotional all the way up. And for me, it's all the way up until the new moon or the full moon. Usually right after the new moon and full moon, the power is not so strong, but before it's really like the pressure is building, and slowly, like incrementally, like that, it feels like it gets higher and higher up until the new moon or the full moon. And afterwards, finally, I'm like released of this grip. So it's like, when do you think is like an okay time to make decisions or clearer decisions, if you have the chance to be able to be more free? Because for me, the way it comes up is like, I feel like I want to say something to someone, but I have to, basically the decision is whether or not I choose to say it. And it's like, how long do I wait before I can say whatever I feel like I need to say or want to say, or is it's just an emotional wave and it's let it go completely?
Your emotions, as we discussed, that there's a lot of the mood swing depending on the internal transport mechanism, the chemical gets transported and reaches to the various parts of the body. Ultimately, see what happens after when you are doing the fast, you are disturbing the whole cycle of your body. You are putting a hold
I've
to
observed
something
that.
which is going on. So that's not the normal scenario, right? You are disturbing something. So in that, your mind is actually, see, this is all actually a mind game also. When you want to do a fast, at very first instance, when you tell someone you don't have to drink water even for 12 hours, no, it's not possible, very difficult, right?
Yes.
But when you start doing this,
Yeah.
it looks easy. Okay, it's not that difficult.
No.
But on prima facie, it looks very problematic. No, how we can, right?
Exactly.
You are disturbing something, your flow, your regular flow in while you are doing this kind of fast. Okay. Yes, with fruit and all, yeah, you are not actually disturbing anything. In fact, you are not doing fast. Okay.
Yeah.
But actually, this kind of fast, you are disturbing. My own opinion is we should not taking a decision any of important things within those disturbed period, because you are doing something else than your routine. Your mind is occupied in, your mind is actually struggling to survive because there are a lot of emotional things.
Yeah.
When you are fasting, there's a birthday party going on. When you are fasting, somebody is eating in front of you with your favorite dish. Okay. So you are struggling.
You're
right?
already in
Okay,
disturbance. Yeah.
Exactly. And actually, in new moon and full moon, the darker side and the lighter side, there is energy level at one new moon side. Actually, it has been told new moon side, the energy level are very low. Okay. So the new decisions, the very good things, if you want to start, you should start from the new moon ends, starting beginning of business, beginning of something new, beginning of some new chapters or new book or whatever new is from the new moon. And that is why it is called new moon. Why we not call it born moon? Okay, since it is born, no, name is new moon. That's why the new things should start from there. And when you are at full moon, your energy at highest, energy is at peak because it is a brighter side. The sun gives the more light. So on that time, normally your energy is too high. The couple gets fight, or you have fight with your partners, and because energy level is too high, you have to exhaust it, right? How you will exhaust? Either shouting, dancing, whatever, right? And then, so after full moon, your energy gets actually start reducing, and when it reaches to a new moon, it is become a low. It is very advisable that things you should start, if you want to start anything new after new moon, and anything you want to quit, like your bad habits, something you don't like, some people you don't like, some nature you don't like, whatever you want to quit, you should start doing after full moon. Okay. So the beginning after new moon and quitting after full moon. That's
after
the
full moon.
thumb rule. Yeah.
Got it.
This treasure box is open, and fasting is anyway important, but fasting on these days creates your lot of mental stability because you are impacting less. And that is why now listen to another punchline. That is why the Ekadashi fast is actually called body and mind healing method. Not only a body healing method, body and mind healing method, because it plays a very vital role with your mind, your emotions, along with your body, of course. And that is why fasting, you can heal your body by exercise, by fasting, and at any day, by walking, jogging, by Zumba dance, whatever, right? But those activities doesn't relate to your mind. But here, without water, without food, on this particular day, when there are a lot of forces acting on you, and when people are eating around you, people are living normal life, and you don't live normal life, that makes your mind more stronger, and it ultimately it ends up making you a more calm and contained person. If you I have gone through all the religions scriptures, and almost all the religions have said the importance of this 11th day fast. Names may be different in different religion. Like in Hindu, it is called Ekadashi, like different, they have different names, but everyone is saying the fasting on these days because they want to save you from that mass day. That's why they have given a lot of importance of this. Now, very quickly, it is already 1 hour and 40 minutes. So very quickly, I want to give some important hints that yes, when you listen that, yeah, Ekadashi is a kind of a treasure box, ultimate benefits, I will start doing it tomorrow. As Nahal in the beginning said, that she took around 2 months to get ready. Okay. Don't start immediately without water, without food. Okay. Try yourself by reducing or stopping the food for 8 hours, continue on fruits and juices. Then next month or next 15 days, you reduce fruit also, and then you reduce water also. Like that, you prepare your body. Don't get immediately. Okay. Whenever you are doing fast of this kind, keep monitoring your body, keep monitoring your moods. Actually, these are all the important things to take care. This is not the medical replacement. If anything medical situation arise, you definitely need to meet your doctor and take their suggestions. If you feel that it is going something out of control, take a food, break it. Okay. Don't stretch yourself beyond a break point. So keep monitoring yourself, keep monitoring your behavior, that you don't get angry. Because when you don't have food, actually, see, we are too much of habitualized of eating. We don't get it, we get angry. We don't get it, we get nervous. So yeah, keep monitoring that. That is important. Second thing is, you are doing some kind of a job which is riskful, or some kind of a job which is risk to many other people. Okay. So when you are fasting, then don't go that kind of a job. But if job is definitely, we cannot say that, yeah, take a leave. But if that, then you just keep watching yourself, because your action can harm many people. Don't do this kind of a fasting. And that's why you reach in scriptures also, it is said, you get isolated from the world. Yeah, but nowadays it is not possible to get isolated. Yeah, then you get more stronger. Be in the world and get isolated with them. Though in your office, you have be there, but don't eat what they are eating, right? On this day, your mind get more stronger. So be more stronger. All these things need to be taken care while doing fast. Prepare yourself and observe yourself. After fast, important thing, after fast, don't start eating, because ending fast is also an important thing, because it ends whatever you said, things well ends well. So your fast also should be ending very well. You don't have a food for a lot of time, like 8 hours, 12 hours, 16 or 24 hours or 36 hours. And then when you start eating, your factory gets restarted, because it was shut down. As I said, metabolism was slow, right? Factory get restarted, your machine gets start talking like that. You can feel actually when you just sip the first sip of water, you can start that your machinery factory is getting restarted. But don't give too much that after immediately starting it and break it down. So many of the people while breaking the fast, if it is too oily food, too spicy food, they get drowsy because they are eating more or oilier. It is to be break with just few dates or one banana or half cup of milk, or there is a special recipe. Important point is low food, start low. Immediately on a 12th day, don't come into a regular food pattern. Okay. Like you are eating 3 breads every day. Immediately after breaking fast, don't start eating 3. Start with 1 only. This is very important point. Breaking the fast is much important in a correct way. Otherwise, whatever hard work you have done, it will all go into a way, because there are the syndromes which you feel that you will feel more. Yeah, I want this spicy. I want this spicy. After when you break, again, control.
Greed and lust for food. Yeah.
Don't get into that. Slowly increase, and on third day reach to your normal pattern. Okay. During that day, your body gets completely, and believe me, when you break, your enjoyment is at your peak. And that I cannot explain in the word, that you have to feel only. Okay. And that's why I see in this era, we all are Christian people. These scriptures said these things thousands of years before. But yes, they have linked it to some religious, so people do, or they conduct this kind of fasting or exercise, considering, yeah, God will help me, God will bless me. And that purpose is, yes, they will bless you. How? Because your body gets benefit. So you feel blessed. Ultimately, there is a science or technical reason attached to any of those beliefs. And this is one kind, right? The Ekadashi fast. So this is what, in fact, I have to tell today. There are a lot of different things. If you pick one topic, you can discuss for an hours. Very interesting subject. I would definitely recommend that everyone should do this. Everyone should start this. I have nothing market on this, but this is for your benefit, actually.
True. Like it's what you've recommended actually in the Yoga Avec Mom membership portal. We've had like over 6 or 7 like guest expert speakers that come, and your talk has by far been the most impactful in my personal life. Like my personal life has not been the same since you came to chat, and I've noticed what it's done to my life, and I'm only just talking about it and sharing about what I'm doing with my audience as well. It's helped me so much, because for me, it was like huge to know the moon cycle. This is why I usually have moon cycles, either new moon circles or full moon circles. And I do a lot of cleansing, emotional practices with the people who come. And it's really amazing. But I haven't quite, even when I was doing it, it was like, oh, this is horrible, because I just have to wait until the emotion just comes out. But now I truly feel like I have a hack to it, that I can prevent my emotions from going crazy and feeling like life is totally out of control. Now I really feel like contained, and I still allow the emotions to pass through with ease and with flow, because I do know they need to come. It is just not so intense, and I don't feel like my life is over and that everything is falling apart. The emotions are, I don't want to even say constrained, because I still feel them quite deeply. It's just, I have a knowing that all is going to be well and it's okay. And so,
you have more control on yourself.
Yeah.
You have more control in yourself.
Mm-hmm. I actually wanted to ask you what you have personally, first of all, how long have you been doing the Ekadashi fast for? And 2, what have you personally been learning about like the nuances? I want to know the nuances of every time you fast. What is one little increment more of a thing that you realize in your process? Because you've had many other more cycles than I have. So I'm still like baby learning. And even just today is the 4th time I'm doing the Ekadashi fast. Like I've already observed so much myself, but I would be very curious to know what you've gained and learned. Do you have like Ekadashi journal specific to like focus on days of learning on those days? Or like, what have you been learning about this?
Okay. Yeah, it's very interesting. Ultimately, this topic I came to know accidentally. Okay. I'm not a writer, actually. I have not published this book as a kind of a normal event. It is an accidental event. And I was not doing fast. This book I have published in 2020. Okay. It was 11/11/2020. So it was 11th month, 11th day. It was Ekadashi day. And I published on that day, worldwide published. I came in contact with this topic very accidentally, that I heard at many places that Ekadashi fast is so important. Ekadashi fast. I read in many scriptures, like Hindu scriptures, the Bible, Quran, and the other Baha'i also saying the same on the fasting, right? I said, okay, why everybody is saying fasting is important? I know. Okay, it helps body. That is what I was aware. And then why on this day? What is so important? What is so different? And then I started exploring. I have met a lot of space scientists. I have interviewed a lot of doctors. I started getting interested. Oh, this is something really different actually. In our thousands years before, in the Bhagavad Gita, it is told that doing Ekadashi is equivalent to the kind of a blessing or the donating thousands of the Ashwamedha horses. What does it mean? Actually, it's unbelievable. You get $1 trillion in your account. That is what the other form it says. So I was thinking that by doing this fast, how you get this kind of benefit? Why it is so significant, so specific? And then I explored. I took almost 14 months, around 14 months to research, to read those Nobel Award winner research paper. I purchased few papers and explored. And then I thought, okay, so now I will do Ekadashi. But then I thought, I have interviewed around odd 100 people who are doing Ekadashi fast. Everyone was doing differently. There was no common pattern. Then I said, okay, let me do something. Though it is very beneficial, there are already people are doing, but let me give the correct method. Okay. Then let me give the correct way of breaking the fast, doing the fast, and why the fast, and how the fast. Okay. Then I started writing for myself because I wanted to do correctly. Then I thought, okay, let it do for everyone. And then I started systematically writing the book on it. And actually writing book was so easy, but publishing was very difficult. It was not my line. It was not my subject, right? So getting it proofreading and the printing and getting this number and everything was so. Then I learned all those process. That is how Ekadashi benefited me also. I learned all this process and I ultimately published on world level, worldwide, not at one place, right? Coming to your question that how do you feel? How do you incrementally learn? See, I was a very indisciplined guy. Even right now I am. I cannot say I'm so a disciplined guy. I was not spiritual. Right now also, I'm not that much, but yes, there are a lot of changes after that happened in me. It is around almost a year I started doing this fast regularly.
A year.
Other than some yeah.
So it's actually after you wrote the book, you started practicing.
Yes. Yeah, but in fact, after publishing also, I was not so disciplined because the next day is Ekadashi and it is, man, I have to go here, I have to go there without food, without how it doesn't look good or something, right? And with one thought, I am not doing Ekadashi. I was not doing the fast on next day. Just one thought is enough to leave it here. We will do next time. That's it. And then you are gone. I practiced because this is again a mind game. You have to give command to your mind next day or before one day. Tomorrow, whatever happens, I will do.
For sure.
Okay. But it took times for me
to get that discipline. Yeah.
Then I started with 8 hours. Okay. And I was waiting eagerly, when 8 hours comes and then water and then food, but that was wrong. And that is how I experienced everything. So whatever I have written, after breaking, I got drowsiness, that hunger syndromes, and those things I have experienced, what doctors told me already, which I wrote also, but I was not. Then I started following exactly what I have written. Slowly. It took time for me also, not easy. It took 6 months for me, to come to a regular pattern.
Wow.
And it was not that easy. Then 12 hours, because I know 8 hours will give little, but 12 hours give something more than. Okay. Then I started slowly increasing the hours. Sometimes, some situationally, I break also with water, but I definitely don't take food. Just sip of water will give me another few hours continuation. Sometimes I continue that way also. But every time, learn from the previous fast, that because you get a lot of thoughts actually. Now, you just observe, you don't have to eat and drink. You have a lot of time actually. Your half of the day you spend there, even in office. You stand up, have gossip to your friends, colleagues, drink coffee, tea, water, something. Okay, come back but in this day you have lot of time. In fact, in my office, I complete my works much earlier than the regular days because I
On the
don't
Ekadashi
waste
fast.
time.
Yeah.
Because I don't waste time, right? I don't stand up more. I do because I have a low energy,
Yeah.
so I don't enter into gossipings. I normally avoid. Okay. In fact, I avoid speaking. Today is the day I think we somehow arranged this particular session on this day, so we are speaking a lot of things. Otherwise,
Yes.
normally I used to keep mum only required, then only speak, just to store the energy. We
Energy,
don't
yeah.
lose into that. Yeah. So every time I learned that, last time that thought or that things created me a lot of issue actually. Okay. I build myself for such situation if comes against how to resist that, how to sustain in front of that situation again. For example, in office, somebody, man, you are a close friend and today is my birthday. How you, if you don't eat cake, how it filled me, right? How I'll feel bad. No, you have to eat. Okay. So now we are in a dilemma, we are in a difficult situation. I know what I am doing. He has his own emotions, his own affections, love towards me. Now he is forcing me to have a piece of cake, which I don't want to take. Okay. How to tackle this kind of a situation? Sometimes people say, oh man, no, you are fasting. Huh? But yeah, you can sit with us. Huh?
Yeah.
We can sit. And something in someone tiffin box which you like most. How your situation? The smell also creates problem for you. You get tempted, right? These are the things actually. Every time I feel a lot of trouble, a lot of problems, specifically when it is evening time. Because evening time is a time to get relaxed, have a food, what you like, enjoy time. But you are actually horrible time. Full day you have no water, no food, and evening is terrible to handle, right? What you will do? Because your family members are having a dinner there and you can't even see because it's like now you have started into a starvation mode or maybe a fasting mode just ended, right? These are the situation every time I observe it and I pick it and I try to overcome next time. So that is how, in fact, I am still learning. It's not easy. In fact, I have reached 24 hour very few times in 1 year. Okay. It is 16 or sometimes 20. Okay. 24 is very less. Maybe I can say I can count it's 2 to 3 times only. But even believe me, 12 hours also wonderful. But yes, more than 16, definitely it is looting more from your treasure box.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think for me, because of the Baha'i fast, the 12 hours is easy. That's standard. I don't think the first 3 times I could have made it 16. Like today, it just happened that it was like 16. It landed on this day. I usually have a really early 1 a.m. class on like the Saturday. And so I can eat that time and then wake up and not eat until like dinner. But usually I need to wake up and have breakfast first in order to be able to like do the fast.
In Baha'i fast, you do a waterless fasting?
Yeah, waterless fast. But it's usually the pattern is you wake up, you say prayers, you go eat, or you eat and then you say prayers and then you fast for the rest of the day and then you pray again, you break the fast, and that's how it goes. But it's for me to wake up and not have breakfast this morning, I was like a little confused. I was like, oh, what am I going to do? At least if I like wake up and I eat breakfast and start the fast, then at least I know I'm like preparing my mind. But this morning is I woke up and I was like, no, I ate last night. So that was my food. And I'm like, going to go continue. Like technically now I could break. Now is 12 hours. Right now, exactly. Okay. It's 12 hours. But I want to try, but I feel good. I feel good. I feel like I can do 16 today because then it's like my dinner time. I don't think I can pass dinner time. I have the 3-hour class tonight. I'm definitely going to need food for that to be able to do that. But yeah.
And see, one thing is one good thing. Some people have that habit, okay. Psychological habit is that if I have a breakfast, my day will start. Otherwise, day will not start. Okay,
Yeah.
that the psychology is set in your body.
Yeah.
See, what recommended thing is, the people normally they wake up 1 or 2 hours before the sunrise. They take a food or light food, not food heavy. Okay, just light, just to satisfy the psychology that yes, I have a breakfast, and then they start the 0 hour from that, from sunrise. So sunrise is a very good milestone to start begin with, because when sun starts, that the energy level and the other forces and all those start impacting. That's the better way. Many of the sea animals or many of the animals, they have sunrise sunset as a setting as the clock, their food, their sleep, or their whatever clock, right? So this is actually a very good thing. If you have that kind of psychology, you can have a little light food before that, and then you start